Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network, JC. The Super Bowl teams are decided. Bro, it's actually right. I was saying Chiefs Eagles all year. I was picking the rematch. Got it right. Let's talk about what we saw yesterday, do an early preview of the Super Bowl, and then let's talk about some of the coaching newses and some of the offseason stuff going on in the NFL. But this is Fanspeak.com. I'm Spread Astaire. I'm here with JC Zargo, and we're going to overreact to what we saw yesterday. JC Zargo. People aren't happy, but the Kansas City Chiefs are in the Super Bowl once again. What's up, Jamie? How you feeling?
People want to complain, and it's like we saw this coming. I had a conversation with some coworkers yesterday about it. They were on Buffalo. I said, "How many times have we seen this movie? How many times have we seen this matchup?" I literally made the analogy. I said, "Do you rewatch The Lion King and think, hey, maybe Mufasa won't die this time? It was obvious. You don't have to like it, but you could have at least made money on it. But some people are pissed off and broke now. So, obviously it's nice to see fresh teams in the Super Bowl, but I mean, this seemed inevitable. I had hopes for Washington, but they just got embarrassed. So it's one of those things, man. If you're going to watch a sport, if you're going to bet, at least separate your hopes from your wallet, because at least one way or the other, you'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it in the preview last week, but with both you and with Jamie on Tuesday. And just for those who know, normally Jamie comes on the day after us. This week we're overreacting right now, but give us a week. And then next Tuesday, Jamie and I will go ahead and give us an in-depth preview. But I'll be honest, JC, I've already made a bet for the Super Bowl. And we talked about it before with the officiating. And I said, you just have to factor that into your handicap. Just like when you're betting on a Los Angeles Lakers game, if it's a big game, you have to know they're going to get 6 to 10 more free throws. So if you make the bet and then you're complaining about the free throw disparity, it's like, well, what did you expect, right? I mean, just like we use past data. For example, we know the Eagles have a great run game. We use the past data. We see that they're number one in the league in the NFL in rushing. So we know they're a good rushing team, right? We just know that for whatever reason, with the Lakers, it's a little more obvious, right? Biggest market, most popular team. But for whatever reason, the Kansas City Chiefs do get that same kind of thing. But I don't know. I guess you could say it's the difference in the game. I think that's one of the bit lame things about sports in general. It's not just football, and it's not just with the Chiefs, that we all want a close game, right? Like the Washington game, it's kind of boring, right? I mean, I didn't have it on the whole. I didn't know they got to 55. I think I turned it off at 40 something, right? Well, it wasn't the most game. We all want a close game. But here's the thing. Eagles fans know that they're better than Washington, right? It's just like, well, we beat you. Washington fans and say, hey, good luck. We're back next year. I hate that. And it's not just, maybe not much in baseball, but in football and basketball, it just seems if you have a close deciding game, the officials are going to get criticized. What did you think of the calls? That's what everybody's talking about. I like to say that they didn't matter, but obviously they do. What did you think, and what is your takeaway on that?
I mean, I didn't think it was as bad as some of the other Chiefs games we saw, and it's just become such a narrative that no matter what, like any play that's just a little bit, or any call, that's just a little bit questionable, people are going to complain and be like, oh, the NFL, they got it out for the Chiefs. I'm not going to lie, though, in the first quarter, I laughed out loud when Mahomes fumbled, lost it, and then they called offsides on the defense, just because, it looked like it was the right call and all that, but it was just so Chiefs. And I was at the sports bar, so like guys are losing it, and most everyone there was betting on the Bills, and they're just like losing their minds. But also, too, I mean, like I said, it's what people want to point to. And again, you got to go to something in a close game. It can't be that Josh Allen just couldn't choke up for that last drive, right? It's that, oh man, Cook got over, like that was close, and all this other crap. But overall, I thought it was a pretty well officiated game, and I don't think it came into play as much as we've seen in the past. Wasn't quite the thriller we sometimes see with these two teams, but at the end of the day, I mean, the Chiefs just played a better game, and they're the ones. There's a reason they're still going to be playing in 2 weeks, and the Bills aren't.
Yeah, and I know we all want to make this Mahomes versus Allen, just like we want to do. Well, not us. I think we're very level-headed, even though this isn't quote-unquote over it. Well, maybe we're not, but at least with the quarterbacks, I think we're fair. Maybe we overreact, myself especially, to other things. JC, I got to take a phone call real quick. Break down. I thought the Chiefs were a much better team. Break that down real quick.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs, they were. That's what's kind of weird. I mean, like, that's what's been so impressive about the Bills this season is, they've just lost piece after piece. And though the Chiefs have two, the Bills more so. And it's like, what does Josh Allen have to work with? And yet he still put together an MVP caliber season. I mean, Cook showed up well in this game, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had that 133-yard run. But when you look overall this season from him, I mean, it was just so hit and miss. You never knew with him if you're going to get 100+ yards out of him or, if he was going to have 28. It was just so inconsistent. And then you look at the receiving core Allen was working with, really nothing special there. Keon Coleman was not the difference maker we thought he'd be this season. He took good progressions this year. So I do think I think next season, I think he definitely has high potential in this league, but he was just not the difference maker they kind of needed. And I think that was a big difference maker, right? I mean, everyone hates on Travis Kelce, but at the end of the day, Mahomes has him, right? And Kelce didn't get much action yesterday because they didn't really need him. But if they did have to turn around and put together another drive, like you knew that's who he was going to go to. That was going to be Mahomes' guy. Just in the clutch, he's got that receiver he can go to. And Josh Allen just didn't have that this year. He didn't have, a playmaker. So that's, to me, what made the Bills extremely impressive this season. But I also think that's what led to their downfall.
All right, sorry, and I missed most of your breakdown. I'll probably listen to it back a little later, but I appreciate you holding that down. I told you before we went on, I'm in the middle of trying to make a big real estate purchase, and I just want to talk to my agent real quick because I might, I want to find out soon.
In a sentence, I just said Josh Allen didn't have the playmakers. Like that's what.
No, and I thought the Chiefs team, like, just look at the whole team. Like we did this. We've done this before, and I almost felt like it kind of came into play last week when the Bills won, and so you give Josh Allen credit for that. But like, where are they better? The offensive line, I would say about equal. I thought the Bills' offensive line was good.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, that's equal, right? With Chris Jones, I think the Eagles have a better defensive line. Linebackers equal, secondary equal, or maybe you give it to the Chiefs. Right, a wide receivers. I like the Chiefs better. At what skill position group were the Bills better? So, obviously we were on the Chiefs, so we're not as surprised by the result. But for anyone who wants to criticize Buffalo or Sean McDermott, like criticize the general manager, they didn't have the talent to keep up.
No, I mean, and that's just what we've seen year in and year out. Right, is when it's all equal, Mahomes is going to win every time.
All right, and I'm going to give myself credit here because I think this sets up for the perfect segue, because if we do this going into the Super Bowl, I don't think that's going to be the case at all. And let's talk about the Eagles win real quick, but just keep in mind that that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
That offensive line, they're awesome. That defensive line, they were in the backfield on almost every play. I mean, they completely dominated in the trenches. That was old school football. it reminded me of when you go to a high school game and just one team's better than the other and they can just run simple plays. Obviously, I'm not trying to take anything away from the coaching staff, but it really didn't take an offensive genius to be able to dial up effective plays there, because they're winning on their and I don't do PFF, but the run block win rate I'm sure is fantastic, right? Pass block maybe not so much. I was impressed by the Commanders' ability to get pressure on Hurts, but we had talked about going into this game and why I said if Hurts is 100%, the line should be 7.5. If he's not, the line should have been 3. It was obvious early on that Hurts was 100%. Remember we talked last week about that safety he took? He was scrambling. He was fine. 3 rushing touchdowns. He avoided plenty of pressure. I did think Washington did a great job of getting pressure. So maybe, the pass block win rate wasn't enough. But, boy, if that run block win rate continues, I think the Eagles are definitely live here. I'll go ahead and give it away now. I bet the Chiefs already. I laid 2. But – oh, no, I did -130 on the money line. But to me, the key to the game, I had already written up and sent it off. It'll be up on Odds Trader later today or tomorrow. Is going to be, can the Chiefs slow down the Eagles' rushing attack? So talk to me about what you saw yesterday and how that's going to impact your handicap for this upcoming matchup.
I mean, well, I'll just say right off the bat, I don't really have to handicap this one. I got a future out on both the Chiefs and Eagles, so I'm sitting pretty.
Oh, great job.
Yeah. Luckily, I got a little bit more return coming on the Chiefs, which is tremendous because that's the way I would go in this one. I will say, man, I mean, it's one of those things is it almost just feels like you look at that line and it's just history, everything. You just kind of gravitate towards the Chiefs. But I mean, this Philly team is way better than the one they faced off against in 2023. And I think this Eagle team's, except for the quarterback position, I think they're all around better than the Chiefs. That's what's going to be really interesting here.
Yeah, that's why I bring that up on the Bills. Bills is the opposite. I mean,
right.
Obviously, he was a little shaky early, right? But I think Josh Allen is almost as good as Patrick Mahomes. I 100%. Think if you flip the quarterbacks, the Chiefs win. If you give them that coaching,
I was going to say, I think Andy Reid and Josh Allen, I mean, they go on a run too.
Yeah. So I think a lot of this is Reid and Spagnuolo. Did you hear Chris Jones after the game? He goes, as long as no one hires Spagnuolo, we're going to keep winning.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy that every other coordinator, I guess it's because people only want offense nowadays, but it's crazy that he's been that successful. And it's not like he's dealing with this murderer's row. Like, I think we'd agree that I think the Eagles have more talent on defense.
For sure.
Especially when you look at the linebackers and the depth in the secondary.
I mean, as electric as Washington's offense is, I mean, they just got bullied. I mean, 3 fumbles, an interception, some really timely sacks on the Eagles' part. Like, I mean, they just showed up and kicked butt. I mean, there was nothing more to it. I mean, they didn't – and I mean, this was a game where we thought Saquon was going to have to – well, again, assuming Hurts was 100%, Saquon was going to have to win them that game. And, well, yes, coming out the door with that 60-yard TD run, that was great. After that, he didn't do all that much. I mean,
he ran for 3 touchdowns.
No, for sure. But again, only on 50 yards. Like, I mean, yes, he was great. I'm not saying anything against him. But
that always happens. Me and Tyler get in this argument all the time too, because he'll be like, well, if you take out that 60-yard run, I'm like, well, look at most big running back games. It's not that they're just consistently getting 7 yards a carry, right?
My
it's
point
2
is
yards,
being,
2 yards, then 13, then 4 yards, then -1 yards, then 9, right? I mean, that's why I think analytics doesn't like the rushing attack so much, because so many of those plays get you nothing. But for me, what I don't think that they're measuring correctly is the impact of the offensive line's ability to go forward, and the fact that the safeties now have to account for that happening. Whereas, once you get up 2 touchdowns, like, hey, I'm in coverage every play. I'm not worried about play action. We can just send the house. We can go all out.
My point just being, though, that this Eagles team was just clicking on all cylinders. Like everyone had a great game, and that's what you're going to need to have a chance against the Chiefs.
All right, so let's talk real quick about let's do both losing teams, but since we're talking about the Eagles right now, that game, let's start with Washington. Your takeaways from their season. I mean, to me, number one, it shows you how quarterback dependent this league is.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of that team is not very good. I mean, obviously every single team, right? Even the Raiders, my favorite team, they're a terrible team, right? They got the best tight end in the league. They got one of the best defensive ends in the league. You know, they have a couple players that you know, in the secondary that almost any team would love to have, like Jack Jones and Trevor Moore would probably play well. So everyone's got good players, but you know, the Commanders were so outclassed. And you look at that team, they have so much that they can upgrade. I think you have to be excited as a Commanders fan, and it just shows you if you have a good quarterback in this league, that's all that matters. Because I don't think the Bills have a great roster, and I don't think the Commanders have a great roster, and it feels like that they're really close to going over the top. What are your takeaways? And do you think Washington, so we also saw this with Houston last year, right? Where it just seemed like, oh, they're poised to dominate forever. They had a little sophomore slump, a little regression in the second year for CJ and Will Anderson. Do you think the Commanders will face the same problems? Do you think it's just they can upgrade their roster so easily? I mean, we've talked before, when you're on that rookie contract, right? Every free agent's in play. Every extension's in play. So what are your takeaways on the Commanders going into next year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was kind of funny looking back at last season. I mean, I remember we said, I mean, you look at this Washington team, and we all kind of thought like, hey, they got a good core there. Like that's when you're looking at the worst teams in the league, that's a pretty good.
But I didn't think NFC Championship, right? I'm thinking over six games or whatever they.
You know, kind of ruining the buildup I was getting at there.
I'm sorry, Tyler gets mad at me about that too. I will.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is, you looked at that coin and said, you know what, a good quarterback, like that's definitely the best spot for a quarterback to go to. But yes, nobody would have thought that they'd be playing in the NFC Championship game, especially with a rookie quarterback. I mean, anyone though, whether they went out and got a good veteran or got the best rookie available, I mean, they just soared over expectations. So, yeah, I mean, hard to predict, right? I mean, that is just such a hard place to be, right? Because the only way to improve on this season is to go to the Super Bowl, and there are just so many factors. I wouldn't be rushing to bet any futures. I do think long-term great promise there, especially when you look around the NFC, right? You don't have the problems that there are in the AFC. So great, about as good an outlook as you can have for a team. I mean, the Eagles, even I don't even think the Eagles are necessarily poised for a dynasty, because Saquon, I don't think he's going to do this every year. I don't think Hurts is an elite quarterback. Like, I would definitely rather have Jaden than Hurts. So, I mean, the NFC is just so weak that, yeah, I definitely think Commanders are poised for a great decade.
I think from a betting perspective, you're absolutely right, though, that I don't think there's going to be value on them.
No, absolutely not.
I think everybody's going to be aware, and the offseason signings are going to look good, which will probably pump their price down even more. But, boy, for Meg, for Steve, for Andrew, our fellow Commanders fans here at Fanspeak, the future is bright. And for me as a team that's just watched a moribund franchise the way that Washington was for all those years, to see it turned around in 1 year is pretty exciting. And it just shows you, just with the rule changes, quarterback is so overpowered. It's just so overpowered. I mean, a good quarterback can just make up with so many other things. All right, let's go to Buffalo. Same situation, right? Although, they're paying them a lot more, but great QB, but they got to find the help. So one of the issues in the past for Buffalo was a lack of run game. They seem to have addressed that. I thought the offensive line played well. I thought they gave James Cook plenty of opportunities, and I thought that he took advantage of those opportunities. I think that you're going to need to continue to attack the skill positions. And I almost wonder how much of this is coaching. So also, listening to the reaction shows today, a lot of the talk was about the Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy choices. right? But I'm wondering if Keon Coleman goes and works with Andy Reid and those guys. I don't know the whole coaching staff. I think Matt Nagy's back there, but excellent coaches for what they do. Is he this good? And would Xavier Worthy actually break out in Buffalo? I don't know. I almost think that the coaching has a lot to do with why one draft pick looked towards the other. And, on the wagering world, I'll have to send it to you. We had Sean King on Friday. And when he was asked about the quarterbacks, he goes, well, I think it just ends up the situation, and I think that matters so much. What do you think of Buffalo? What do you think of the Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy debate? And, obviously they're going to be back next year and potentially in a spot to do this championship again. But where do you think they should be looking to improve this team?
Yeah, for sure. I hate logging into my MGM app because every time I do and go to look at my bets, I got to look at all those Keon Coleman futures I placed. So those didn't quite come to fruition.
Right.
But I do think he made solid progressions this season. I do think he's going to be better next year. And, if you can go out and get a number one receiver, that's going to extremely elevate those guys and I think definitely make a drastic change to this offense. Word on the street is Tyreek Hill's available. I don't know that he'd want to go to Buffalo. I don't know. But
I think you would.
I do too. I don't know what he's thinking if he necessarily wants to go back to Kansas City, but holy cow. You add Tyreek to that offense and then boom. And like I said, I'm as far as the AFC goes for the past couple of years, I've just been like, it's the Chiefs. It doesn't matter what anyone does. It's the Chiefs. If they go and get a guy like Tyreek Hill, I think that's what Buffalo needs to kind of get them over the hump. That would just be such a game changer. Other than that,
I think they got to shore up the D line too.
Yeah, that probably would help. But I don't know what else this team could do to really make me say yes. Now,
just keep shoring up that defensive line, get better on the secondary. Just try to build an elite defense.
Yeah, because it's just, it's a tough conference and it's going to take a lot to dethrone teams.
All right. Tyler, you want to jump in here? I see you backstage.
Hey,
What's up,
fellas.
buddy? How you doing today?
I'm good. Just woke up from my nap. These 1 o'clock shows, they really screw me up. Right in the middle of my nap.
I'm sorry. We'll do it later next year. We'll figure it out for next year. Okay. Or even for the Jamie show next Tuesday, we can do it in the afternoon, not the morning.
We gotta go back to that 3 p.m. start time.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry about that. I appreciate you jumping in with us. Let's just do everything. Just give me your full takeaways. JC and I kind of already talked about both games. You can talk about
I feel
whatever
like the
you
games
want.
went like how we talked about them last week. The Eagles kind of beat up on Washington. They really didn't have a shot in that game. And then, the Buffalo-Kansas City game was as good as we expected, and Kansas City does what they do. They gutted it out in the end. I heard you guys talking about Buffalo's defensive line. I don't think they have to shore it up. That was a strong point of the defense. It's the secondary and the linebackers that they need to fill.
What do you think? Yeah. What would Buffalo have to do in this offseason to really make you think they're better than
the
Kansas
response?
City? Fair enough.
What's up? Hold on. What happened here? I'm doing a terrible job of hosting. What's going on?
Tyler just said no response.
Oh, I think he was saying no response to us.
Yeah, you said about the
because I said they need to
being
shore up the defensive line. He thinks the linebackers and secondary.
No, but I said, what do you think Buffalo would have to do, though, for you to say, yes, they're better than the Chiefs?
Tyler?
Exactly.
Tyler, that question was for
I'm
you,
breaking up over here. I can't hear you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought the silence was his response.
Yeah, I was going to say, jump off and jump back on. Yeah, I guess. I just think you got to get better at all three phases of the defense. And to me, defensive line's the easiest one.
But that's
not. If you're consistently getting pressure, your secondary doesn't matter.
I mean, but again, you look at all these playoff matchups between these teams, and while like, okay, yes, you shut down Mahomes, you'd win the game, but I don't think it's that simple. And so you got to be better than him on offense. When these shootouts happen, when these last drives happen, you got to be better than him. And they don't, and they're not. They never have been. And it's hard to imagine that they ever will be unless they go get like a Tyreek Hill.
Fair enough.
All right, what was the question? Let's try this again. My computer doesn't like 1 o'clock either.
Yeah, I guess so. The question is, for the Bills, what would you do to try and improve this team to make the run next year?
You definitely need an actual wide receiver one. I mean, running Khalil Shakir and these guys out there isn't going to win you all the games.
Yep.
To be honest, I mean, it's probably it. Like, you got to avoid Kansas City. That's the main thing. You got to pray to God Joe Burrow knocks them out before you got to play them. And he wasn't there to do it.
And with Cincinnati's ownership, I mean, I think that 1 year run might be it for them.
Man.
They're just going to keep getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
This could be a crazy era to look back on in 20 years. And whether, I mean, you know, I think one of those, like between Lamar, Burrow, and Allen, one of them will break through and win a Super Bowl or two. But like, those are 4 of the best quarterbacks we have ever seen in this league.
The Bills deserve everything they're getting. They're the reason why this is happening.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
They traded the 10th overall pick to Kansas City to let them draft Mahomes.
And have you seen
they had Tyrod Taylor as their quarterback? They deserve everything they get.
Have you seen everything they got out of that trade?
Yeah. And then they turned around and traded him another pick and let him get Worthy. So it was like, you deserve everything that happens to you.
Well, no, if you just like blindly be like, okay, the Bills gave up a pick, here's all the things they got from it and like the trades from that. I mean, it's stacked. It's Pro Bowlers. It's great players. It's like, wow, what a deal. And then that one pick, Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, I mean, we're just going to look back. And again, 2 of those guys, we never even see a Super Bowl.
I don't think Kansas City is going to be stopped outside of injuries / these coaching moves start to happen. If Spags and Andy Reid are going to be there, you're kind of beat.
I know this.
That's what Chris Jones said in the postgame. He goes, until Spagnuolo gets hired, we're going to keep winning.
I know this seems short-sighted since they traded Tyreek and went to 3 straight Super Bowls. I don't know what this team looks like without Kelsey. If he retires or something, I don't really know what happens.
I mean, at this point, they'll be fine. I mean,
they'll be completely fine. I mean, he did jack shit all year up until the Houston playoff game, and they won what, 16 games?
Yeah.
I think we underestimate his presence and then that ability for Mahomes to have that go-to guy.
That go-to guy.
I mean, presence might be a big deal. Supposedly, the guy's just a beast on the practice field, and we've talked before. Although I think it matters more in the NBA than the NFL, but to have those informal leaders is.
I don't even mean like that. I just mean the fact that the defense has to worry about him.
I'm just saying, when you have a veteran that's on their way to the Hall of Fame and they're showing up and they're working harder than you, if I'm a young player, I'm like, he's already got millions. He's on his way to the Hall of Fame, and he's out here. He's staying late. I better stay late.
For sure.
He's here a half hour early. I better get here an hour early. Right. Yeah. Whereas if you have a veteran that, like, and probably Tyreek Hill is this way, that just kind of shows up. Right. Oh, meeting's at 9. I'm here at 9:59. Meeting's at 10. I'm at 9:59. Right. I mean, I think it does make a difference.
I think that's the only thing you really lose. I think on-field production. I think Noah Gray slides.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm more worried about the locker room and the leadership than I would be the on-field production at this point.
We'll see. Yeah.
You'd be hilarious too. Kelsey's going to retire at some point. And Kansas City's going to go, there's this tight end hanging out in the league that everyone thinks sucks because he hasn't been put in the right scheme yet. They're going to go out and get Kyle Pitts.
Oh, my gosh.
And all of a sudden, this dude's going to be a monster.
Oh, man. Oh, that'd be great.
All right. Tyler, your thoughts on the Eagles and the Commanders? I don't know. That game wasn't very fun.
No, I mean, it went exactly how we kind of expected. Washington's a great story. I mean, man, they're probably in the best spot of any team that's not playing in 2 weeks. They have $98 million in cap space. I'd probably say Jaden's the 6th or 7th best quarterback in the league right now.
You could argue 5th. Like I'll put
You
him
could
above
argue
Stafford
5th, but
right
like
now.
I don't know if I could put him ahead of a guy like Stafford yet. And he's like
I think it's
Herbert.
really close.
It's close.
I
And
think
Herbert's
Stafford
like
has a
right
lot
there
more to
too.
work with.
So it'd be he's right there. He's 5 to 7 somewhere. You're gonna go out and you're gonna spend a ton of money in the offseason. Get all the offensive linemen you can. Get him another weapon, build a defense. This team will be right back there again.
Yeah, and they might get like a running back in the 3rd round that's better than everything they got right now.
Yeah. So yeah, just spend the money in the offseason, build your team. They're in a better spot than Houston was coming out of last year. And we thought
The only reason I disagree is Houston's got that cupcake division.
No, but again, no.
the
Washington's
NFC
got that
East flips on
cupcake
its head
conference
every year.
That's a good argument, JC. That's a great argument, actually.
Right.
All right, Tyler. I already bet the Chiefs. I mean,
I want to
to
do
suck
it.
for our show next week. We'll do props and stuff, but I mean,
I want to
I don't
bet
care.
them.
I'll just keep betting until I lose. Like it's just, even if they lose, it's like, well, whatever. I won 8 in a row before this. You know, I mean, the last time I lost betting on the Chiefs was what? Against Brady. I mean, it's been a long time.
There was underlying stuff there though. Everyone knew their offensive line was banged up. Betting on the Chiefs in that one was kind of a risky one.
Yeah, but I lost. I'm just saying. But it's been
This
easy money
one-
for me then, so I'm not going to be upset if I lose.
This one, it feels like this team could straight up beat them. Like the way that James Cook was able to run the ball in that second half really worries me about KC's defense when it comes to
I would
Philly.
agree.
Like
Statistically,
Saquon,
they're good, but it didn't look that good.
he's just unstoppable. But it's Mahomes and these guys. They were able to stop the tush push with Josh Allen. He didn't get a single yard on any of those tush pushes. It's going to be a fun game. I already took. I think Keg gave it out. Was the rushing attempts on Mahomes was 5.5. I took that. He's probably going to be running for his life.
Oh, my favorite one K gave out was Saquon over 20 longest rushing yard over 20 yards.
Yeah, love that too.
Yeah.
And then the only other one I was looking at right now is Dallas Goedert. He was at 46.5 receiving yards. He's at 48 now. I would take anything under 50. He was pretty key in that offense last week, and we know what tight ends have done to this Kansas City defense. That is their weak point.
That's a great point. All right. Anything else on the Super Bowl? Of course, we will have our in-depth preview next Tuesday, and maybe we'll change the time so Tyler's more awake. Yeah, anything else more on the Super Bowl before we talk about a couple coaching changes and then wrap it up?
Just don't bet the Eagles. Don't do it. Anyone thinking about it, just don't waste the money.
What do you think, Tyler? Do you agree with that sentiment?
I don't know. I'm still torn. I got to look into it a little bit more.
All right. Well, that's a good segue for next week. So, see, you guys got to tune in next week. We're not giving it all away. I already bet the Chiefs. So, JC and I are in agreement, and we will find out where Tyler and Jamie land. JC, we had messaged over the weekend because you thought I should be excited about Pete Carroll, and I think it doesn't matter at all.
He took that job out of pure spite. He hates Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I know. That's weird.
What do you guys think you're going to do for your quarterback?
We're going to get
Fred?
smoked by Harbaugh. Why is he doing that? That's dumb.
You guys trading up, or are you guys going to go sign one of these guys?
Probably end up with Darnold.
You're in the rust, buddy. He's going to go get his old quarterback back now. You're getting Russ, and he can get the hell out of my city.
That's why I said, I have no hope. What's the answer here? One team's got Reed and Mahomes. One team's got Harbaugh and Herbert. One team's got Peyton, and I know Bo Nix isn't like this elite quarterback, but he's good enough to do what they need to do. And then we're going to be rushing this ragtag group out there. Yeah, I don't know. There was no one that could have signed that I would have got excited about. Even Ben Johnson, I would have been excited. Schottenheimer returns to Dallas. Your thoughts, Tyler?
When he got hired, I was like, who is this? Why is he a head coach? That was basically my take on that. The only head coaching hire that made me go, all right, I like that one, and I think they're building something, was Jacksonville. And the way that they were able to poach that guy from Tampa Bay, that is actually a really good coach. I mean, kind of turned Baker around, Baker into a $100 million quarterback.
Well, or did Dave Canales? Because I think 1,000 people have gotten credit for turning Baker around.
I mean, it was a combination of both of them. They were both there, but he was calling the offense, so you can give Liam Cohen a little credit here. Mm-hmm. Now he's going to work with Trevor Lawrence and these guys. Let's see what he does there.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And we talked earlier, that's definitely a winnable division. I think Sykin's a good head coach, but I just think with Anthony Richardson,
they can't. They have no
really low. Yeah, and then Tennessee's in full rebuild, and we talk about bad ownership, and that's why I think Houston's in such a good spot.
But look at the other owners. Houston at this point, going into next year, it's you got Nico Collins, Joe Mixon's a year older, Tank Dell's not guaranteed to play next year. Diggs tore his ACL. What's he going to look like? They might be a little worse than they were this year. Defenses in the NFL also don't hold up long. You get 2 or 3 years before it's all right, you're figured out. There's enough tape to find the weaknesses, and you're beatable now. So we'll see if their defense holds up too.
I think they will. I think Houston's just going to be just fine. I think they'll be better next year, personally. Okay, was there any other news? Yeah, Schottenheimer, your thoughts, JC?
No, I just don't think that team in that division, they need a lot more than just a new head coach.
They need a new owner, and it'll never happen.
I mean, they gave that much money to Dak. They pretty much signed their death sentence then.
I'm interested. I'm not
an above average team that they can't compete for a championship.
Now this was a real kick in the nuts. This underdog text from about 2 minutes ago. Texans just hired a guy to be their team president. You want to hear his name? Mike Tomlin. No M-O-N. Look down. I thought it was the brightest day in the world. I thought we got rid of him. Nope.
Oh my gosh. You're the only person that wants to get rid of a great coach.
Not the only person. Spread the whole city wants him gone. His former quarterback wants him gone.
I'm not saying I think they're going to do great things. I'm just interested to see how Ben Johnson does in Chicago. He just seems to.
I don't think they're going to do that well.
I don't know. I think Caleb Williams got potential. I think it's be interesting to see what Ben Johnson can do. Again, I think
it's going to be a lot harder to call plays with that whack-ass Chicago offensive line. That's for sure.
Yeah, but now your quarterback's a lot more of an elite talent than just a stand back there and throw the ball guy.
Yeah, but he also makes a lot of mistakes.
Goff makes a lot of mistakes too. We're talking about a guy
but at least he understands how to read defenses quickly and gets rid of the ball within the prescribed parameters of the play. Caleb only looks great when he's freelancing.
Yeah, but now if he's in these plays could probably stretch an extra 20 yards down the field with the way he can throw the ball. He could also drill it into some of these tighter
Goff's
windows.
Got just a strong arm as Caleb.
No.
Yes.
No.
You're crazy. Goff has a rocket.
You don't have a rocket like Caleb.
Back me up here. When you're just looking at arm strength, Goff is there. Where Caleb's got more is the escapability and the ability to throw on the run, right? I
think Caleb could throw the ball farther off of 1 foot running to the left than Goff can when he loads it up.
Oh, you are absolutely crazy. Do you not? Unbelievable. There's no way. Goff has a cannon.
You want to talk about the Steelers report card from the end of the year spread that all the players vote on?
Yeah.
Treatment of facilities, F-, 29th out of 32. Food and cafeteria, 16th. Nutrition and dietitian, 30th. Locker room, 30th. Training room, 29th. Training staff, 28th. Weight room, 24th. Strength coaches, 20th. Team travel, 28th. Ownership, 31st. Head coach, 5th. A lot of stuff wrong with this team.
But it doesn't matter. If you do that vote, I bet you the Raiders have top 5 in all the facilities and stuff. And it's they're going to lose every single year.
Have you seen what our locker room looks like right now?
No. When would I have ever been in the Pittsburgh Steelers locker room?
Because it looked, just to give you completely honest, you were probably in something very similar to it when you go to work and you walk in the little break room. That's what our locker room looks like.
The last time I've seen it is when Antonio Brown got in trouble for live streaming the.
Guess
Do you
what?
remember that he live streamed the post game speech or something?
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, Spread? They never updated it because they don't update the locker room.
Yeah.
The Pitt Panthers have a locker room in the same facility that has all the LED screens, the built-in recliners, and the Steelers players are sitting on benches.
As much as I love hearing Tyler bitch about the Steelers, I do have to run.
That's okay. We're about wrapped up here. Yeah. JC, your final thoughts, and then Tyler and I will argue for like 3 more minutes and then get off.
Yeah, it's the Chiefs. I told everyone yesterday, bet the Chiefs now. It's plus 200.
It's boring almost, right?
Yeah, I mean, but money's not. So that's the cool thing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but
yesterday I told everyone get it at plus 200. For those that didn't listen to me, you're at minus 130 today. So pay up the juice, get your money. And while you might not like the outcome, at least you'll be a little richer after Super Bowl Sunday.
All right. Thank you, JC. We'll figure out. We'll do an off-season quarterback or coaches show.
Oh, yeah. We got to do another quarterback ranking for sure.
All right.
Later.
See you soon, JC. All right, Tyler, what do you want to argue about before we end the show?
No, I mean, I think I got it all out. We got the Steelers stuff out. I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, we both hate our favorite teams. So we got that going for us.
Yeah, we're both on the same page.
We're true fans. I almost think like football fans want to be
Here's the thing, Spread. Like we are the same team. It's just I get to win like 7 more meaningless games and get pounded in the first round while you get to go home a week earlier. What fun is that?
No, we're not the same team. You get to watch a full season of football with meaningful games. I'm checked out by week 3 when we lose to the Carolina Panthers starting Andy Dalton.
Spread, tell me the last season Pittsburgh actually played good after about week 12.
Okay, fine. You get 12 weeks. I guess.
I was about to say, after that, it's dead.
Yeah, fair enough.
We're getting some actual stats on this in the chat from our guy, Jamie.
Yeah, I'm wondering
Caleb
though.
Has stronger throw velocity than
velocity. Yeah, I'm wondering though
Caleb,
if you did top distance. I'll bet you Goff's top distance is higher.
So I still win.
But I'll bet you if you did who could throw farther, Goff would win.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. There's probably not longest because you can't base it off a longest throw because J-Mo probably caught 120 yards and took it another 80.
Yeah, you'd have to do it like in a combine style setting. Like
yeah,
you couldn't do it from game tape. So.
Who's got better arm, Jared Goff or DeMarcus Russell?
I mean, probably Russell.
Russell was throwing 60 yards off of one knee.
Yeah. I mean, the arm strength was an issue. But I mean, like, Rex Grossman had a strong arm. He was absolutely terrible. Like, having a strong arm doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be good.
Hey, Rex Grossman.
I can think of plenty of people who had just straight hoses that just sucked, So. Okay, Tyler. Well, you and I will talk. Maybe we'll reschedule next week's for later in the day. Like
yeah, maybe we'll do 2
5 Eastern.
No, we don't got to go that late, Spread.
Well, I'll have to be because I'm usually busy between 2:30 and 4 your time.
All right. Maybe we'll keep it the same time. I'll just make sure I'm up this time. Skip nap time.
Okay. Well, I was wrong. So you win that argument.
Oh, yeah. That's another 10 yards. Yeah.
All right. I stand corrected. Thank you, Jamie, for jumping in. I think how the chat loves you. I bet you if Jamie found that and it supported me, he wouldn't put it in the chat. I'm sick of being the heel on the show. Can I ever get some love?
What's funny is you're going to yell at the other Jamie on the show tomorrow or next week for that, and it's not even him.
What's up?
I said you're going to yell at the other Jamie on the show next week for that, and that wasn't even him.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know how he's gonna end up making the Super Bowl breakdown. I hope he's still listening. I'll bet you like 50% of it's going to be related to the Packers somehow. He's in week 13, when the Packers
one time they beat the Packers.
Yeah, in the Packers game, it's going to be like half of the breakdown is going to be about the Packers. It's going to be unbelievable how he manages to pull this off. So,
I mean, I can't say anything because every week I come back and somehow I'm trashing the Steelers.
Yeah, I know. Even I thought we'd have a longer Raiders discussion, but you guys didn't care, and I realized like nobody cares except for me. Like literally nobody cares about this franchise except for Raiders fans. Like nobody in the national media cares. Nobody thinks about it. All right, I'm going to read this from Jamie, and then we'll get out of here. Jamie says, this is Jamie Parag, not the Jamie that jumps on the show. So just make sure we're getting that clear. Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl. The triangle people who run the country. I didn't know triangle people ran the country. So see, we're learning even more.
The
Love the
triangle
number 3.
people's a new one.
Yeah, I haven't heard about the triangle people. So we're going to definitely be Googling some stuff. Taylor Swift will get the 3-peat. Also winning AFC their 30th title. The Eagles' overall record is 666-665. All right. That's some good info. And we'll have to learn about the triangle people. All right, Tyler, final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a fun Super Bowl. It just sucks that the season went by so fast. Like, the
I
season
hope
went
Jamie
by.
doesn't realize that I'm a Freemason.
Oh, Spread, you're one of the triangle people.
I guess I am. I didn't even know I was.
See, this is not good. Now we got one of the triangle people on
So
screen.
the funny thing is when I was like super young, right? And I went to my first meeting, I'm like, these guys can barely organize a potluck. Like, how do people think they run the world?
Oh, that's great.
And everyone tells me it's like, oh, well, you're not high enough to learn the real secret yet. Okay, buddy.
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like it's not the whole group, or it's just like a little group that branched off and just did their own thing. If that's the case, you know what I mean?
I guess so. Maybe
to where it's like when you see those police articles where it's like the entire police department went out and sold drugs or something. It's like, no, there was like 3 or 4 rogue cops that were doing that.
Yeah.
That wasn't just everyone.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So, all right, the triangle people. So I got
now they're gonna think we're deflecting the triangle people.
Bro, if I was like younger, I would like start a band called the Triangle People. That's like a cool name.
We could start a podcast, the Triangle People.
Yeah, me and JC arguing.
He said, "Please don't have me killed for saying that." Oh man,
that's funny. All right, Jamie, I'm glad you're bringing the heat today. All right, Tyler, you give like the words of wisdoms, and I'll hit the outro.
Yeah, I mean, don't mess with the triangle people, or Spread might come knock on your door one day.